I support the military and I support the police. And a couple of them came back at me, well, one of them did, with 2 tweets. One, he said, I supported the military until I was 5, and then I grew up. And then the other tweet was, I supported the police until I was 5, and then I grew up. You cannot have a stabilized country and government without some central government. You can't. It will never work. It will never work. If we didn't have my point to them was, if we didn't have a military in the 40s, we'd all be speaking German, Russian, or Japanese right now. And they say, oh, well, that wouldn't happen now because we're all armed. Really? Okay.
We were armed.
Yeah, I
then.
have an AR-15. I have an AR-15. I have a 45. I have a 380. Sure. I'm going to go up against a tank or a bomber with my AR-15. Great. That's going to work awesome. That's going to be fantastic. You're right. We don't need a military. Some of them are way out there. Some of them do understand that we need a centralized government. So they're really, I kind of started telling them, you're not an anarchist, you're a minarchist. You understand that we need an infrastructure and a military.
Yeah, but they won't even give that much because as far as they're concerned, we just don't understand what the word anarchy actually means.
Yeah. I gave them the actual real definition. And they said, oh, you just photoshopped that and you cut off every other definition. No, it's because I gave you the actual definition of anarchy. The original actual definition, which basically boils down to lawlessness.
Yeah, no, I kind of tried to show them the same thing and even highlighted the word lawlessness. And they're like, well, you're not reading the other 4 million definitions. You don't realize the word's been perverted. You know, the funny thing about that, and I didn't even mean this as a slight, it's interesting how many people actually use that argument when somebody says something about a word that they don't like. The definition that they're pulling is, well, that word's been perverted or it's been corrupted. The scary thing is, a lot of times it happens to be true, and this one I'm not so sure, though.
No, I pulled the actual Webster's Dictionary definition. The first, the top, Webster's, and you know, I applaud some of them for changing it from anarchist to volunteerist. Okay, at least you're making an effort to not call yourself an anarchist, because most people know an anarchist as the definition, the actual original real definition of an anarchist, which means a lawless person. A person that will obey no laws. And a person that will obey no laws will cause a country to become Somalia.
Oh, careful. They're going to start that bingo thing again, or whatever the hell it is that they were saying yesterday.
Yeah, they push it like, You're giving us labels. No, I'm not giving you labels. I'm looking at the actual definition of the word. Now, if you want to call yourself a volunteerist, that's fine. But we still need a central form of government. A country does not survive without a central form. If you do away with all government and just say everybody's on their own, all it does is create warlords. Because we are people. We are human beings. There's always a power grab. Always a power grab. So now you have no government. I mean, case in point, Watch The Walking Dead. That is anarchy. The Walking Dead, the TV show The Walking Dead, is anarchy. Look at the power grabs going on. That is exactly what happens when you have no centralized government. You have power grabs all over the place. Now you have warlords. Now the warlords are like, look at them. We can beat them. So the warlord here goes over there with his people, and they demolish those people. Cool. Now we're this big. This is what happens. This is the problem with all of these countries you hear about in Africa. Warlords. There's no centralized government. This is how it all breaks down. You have to have some sort, if limited, great centralized government. That's what I want. I want a limited centralized government that takes care of the infrastructure, takes care of the military, and here's maybe a dispute between a state here and there. That's how the Constitution was supposed to work. We aren't there right now. We need to get back to it.
No, and that's exactly right. I mean, that's the biggest problem right now is we aren't where we're supposed to be. And I think, honestly, it isn't even so much the disagreements or the semantics or whatever you want to use. It is the crazy, diehard anarchists that the first words out of their mouth are something along the lines of F the Constitution. Look, if that's honestly how you feel, then we probably shouldn't even be having a discussion, because it doesn't make any sense for you to be saying that. Because that's the same thing that the leftists and the progressives say is screw the Constitution. We don't need that old, outdated document. So when you start using words like that, it starts making me wonder where your motivations are actually coming from. And that's something that I want to try to bring up when I have the guest on Wednesday is, does he, as someone who seems to be a little more reasonable than most, understand that when his side does those things, all it really does is make me want to pull my hair out and start punching them in the face, because it reminds me of the same thing that the leftists and the socialists say.
Well, yeah, and he was reasonable with you, but not with me. So I'll leave it at that. I'd actually, would you like to have me on with him also on Wednesday? I would like to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we probably can pull that off.
Okay. Because he wasn't reasonable with me. He wasn't. I mean, he was pretty much kind of a jerk right off the bat. He's the one that pulled me in. He's the one that had me. He took my original tweet and he gave it to everybody else. Which I'm not going to say. That's Twitter. That's how Twitter works. And I even said it to him. I said, yeah, this is how Twitter works. But, I mean, I instantly had like 8 of them on me. So, I mean, all I did was call him out for calling Austin Peterson a scumbag, basically.
Yeah, no.
Because he left the Libertarian Party.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I have seen so many people mad at Austin Peterson for leaving the Libertarian Party. They honestly have been treating him as if he's a traitor because he's left the Libertarian Party. And I honestly, I have to say, I really don't understand that. I mean, I'm not trying to be difficult or obtuse or anything. I don't understand, because the Libertarian Party, and I'm going to irritate a lot of people right now, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Libertarian Party has become a joke.
Yes, it has. And on that note, and I kind of mentioned it, Austin Peterson had a big announcement on the 4th of July, and he is running for Senate in 2018 in Missouri against McCaskill as a Republican. And it's a smart move. I mean, is he going to really run as a libertarian? What did they do to him in the presidential election? No, it's a smart move. You know, I mean, he's still Austin Peterson. He's still the same guy. He still has the same beliefs. But he wants to go with the party that can get him the win and put him in the Senate, which is where we want him. He's pro-life, pro-liberty, and pro-constitution. What more do you want? What more do you want from a guy? I mean, it's the smart thing to do is run as libertarian. You know, I support the Federalist Party, and most of the people in the Federalist Party are supporting Austin Peterson running as a Republican because they like it, and they think he should because he can win as a Republican. He can't win as a libertarian. It's a totally, you know, it's like people going, oh, I really like you, but now I don't support you because you aren't in my party anymore. People need to get away from that attitude. They really do. I mean, I love Rand Paul. He's a libertarian, or was. I really don't think he even supports where the Libertarian Party is right now. But he's a Republican, but he's a libertarian. He was for the last 8 years or longer. He ran as a Republican because he knew he could win as a Republican. It's smart. It's nothing, you know, it's nothing against the libertarians. Maybe it is a little with Austin Peterson. But it's a smart move. And if you like the guy and you like what he stands for, why not support him? Why not? I mean, if there was a guy that decided to run as a Democrat that I liked everything he was about, I would support him. I don't care if he's a Democrat. I don't care if he has a D next to his name. If I like everything he stands for, I'll support him. I don't care. I want people that want what I want in Washington. That's the way it's supposed to work. Like you touched on with the Constitution. There really shouldn't be any parties. It should be, do you like the guy and like what he stands for? That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about, oh, you're a traitor. No. It's getting your views into Washington. I almost think it's, you know, it's been done before, but it seems to be getting some attention. I almost think it's kind of groundbreaking what Austin Peterson's doing. And he put it out there too. He put it out there on social media. He said, if I run for the Senate, what party should I run under? He asked the people. And overwhelmingly, it was Republican because they knew that was his best chance of winning. He's no dummy.
No, and he's not. He's really not. I don't know. I mean, to me, it goes back to something that I opened the show with, and honestly, we need to take a break. Unfortunately, the gremlins have struck again, so I had to reset the server, so I've actually kind of lost track of time as to where we are, but I know we're long for the break. So we're going to take a really quick break, and then I'm going to come back and finish my thought about this whole Austin Peterson thing, because I think people are missing the mark, and I think, granted, I can't vote for the guy because he's not running for something that I can vote for him for, but I will do everything I can to support him. But we'll talk about that when we get back. This is America Off the... see, old habits. This is Robinson and Wright. Friday. You can tell which one I do 4 nights a week. This is Robinson and Wright, live with you right now, Friday nights, KLRnradio.com. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Everything is changing.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details. All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from the critique of the short story through to line edits on full-length novels. We also offer assistance on generating writers' bios for your websites. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com. Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Everything is changing.
All right, folks, we are back. We are still live, and honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure how far into the show we are because we had a server reset issue, and I know we got about 10 minutes, or we got about a 7 to 8 minute late start, so I know we still got about 10 or 15 minutes left total. Just not quite exactly sure where we are. But when we left, we had actually changed over to talking about Austin Peterson. Now, I have to say something, and again, I kind of opened the show with this, and it was kind of my intention to open with it that way because I knew this was going to be one of the topics. Now, I'm going to steal something from Martin Luther King for just a moment, but I'm going to paraphrase it just a bit because I remember a very important part of Martin Luther King's speech that he'd made, where at one point he had said that he hoped that someday his children and their children would be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Now, for those of you that right now, and you know who you are because I've seen most of you exploding on social media, that have turned your back on Austin Peterson because he is officially running as a Republican, shame on you. Because you know his ideals are the same as they were when he ran as a Libertarian. You know the things that he stands for. And again, what happened to judging people by the content of their character, or as Martin Luther King put it, not the color of their skin, or as I'm going to put it, not the letter behind their name? Because I will tell you this right now, if we were judging people by the content of their character, we wouldn't have Donald Trump as president right now, because I'm sorry, he is president. I will support him until he's no longer president on everything that I can. But at the end of the day, he does not represent the character of the Republican Party that I grew up in. The Republican Party that I was a part of from the day that I was 18 until March of 2016. He is not a representative of that party because he doesn't have the same moral fiber as the rest of us. You can call me whatever name you want. It doesn't change that fact. He is president. He ran as a Republican. I will support him. But it doesn't mean that I have to support him only because of the letter behind his name. As a matter of fact, I didn't vote for him specifically because of the letter behind his name, because I didn't feel that his words or his actions led up to being able to have that letter behind his name, because for God's sake, Ronald Reagan had that letter behind his name. And I will tell you, someone who deserves to have that letter behind their name and should be running as a Republican and should be doing what they can to reclaim the mantle of the Republican Party is Austin Peterson. So for all of you that are giving him crap right now for standing on his convictions while at the same time trying to find a way to win, get bent. From you to me. Thank you very much.
Amen, brother. When he put it out there, you and I talked about it when we were on break. I mean, when he put it out there, he actually put it out there on social media. He said, how should I run if I decide to run? And overwhelmingly, the poll was Republican. And the reason is because if he runs as, number one, if he runs as a libertarian, they're not going to support him. So what happens there? As a Republican, people, even Trump supporters, are coming out and supporting him. People are getting behind this big time. I'm watching it. I'm watching it happen. And it's a smart move. I mean, people don't realize that Rand Paul is a libertarian. But what does he run as to keep his Senate seat? His father started the Libertarian Party. Duh. You got to run where you can win. And you know that I'm a big supporter of the Federalist Party. Those are the people I know in the Federalist Party are behind Austin running as a Republican. Because the Libertarian Party isn't all about, or the Federalist Party isn't all about just backing Federalists for offices. They're about backing who they believe in. They don't care what the letter is next to their name. They're not going to throw money at somebody that can't win, they're going to throw money and support behind somebody that believes, for the most part, in their ideals. That's what the Federalist Party is all about. They're not all about, you need to be a Federalist and you need to run as a Federalist. They're about backing the people that believe in what they believe in. They don't care if there's an R, a D, an F, and anything next to their name. They don't care. That's who they want to back. I'm the same way. If a guy with a D next to his name believes more towards what I believe in than anybody else running, I would support it. I'm not going to say that it's ever really happened. It hasn't. But if it did, I would support him. If he believed in what I believed in and he was running and he had a D next to his name, I would support him. I'm not a binary thinker. You're not a binary thinker. I think about what I believe in. And that's the way everybody needs to start thinking. That's the way things get done, and that's the way the country gets fixed. Because it's not getting fixed. I'm not saying that Trump's doing everything horrible. He's not. There's some good things going on. There are some good things going on. But
there are.
He's not a Republican. He's not a Republican. I won't even call him a Democrat. I really don't know what he is. He's just Trump.
I don't think he knows what he is. Just to give this, because we're doing radio, so I want to draw folks a mental picture, just to tell you what my ideology is as far as politics. I don't care if a guy standing behind a podium wearing a purple dinosaur suit singing "I love you, you love me" is the one running, as long as when they're not singing that annoying song that makes me want to put a spoon through my eye socket. When they're saying the things that I need them to say and they're telling me what they're going to do and they're actually going to do them and I agree with the things that they say, that's going to be the person that gets my vote. I don't care if they're purple with pink polka dots. I don't care if they're running with an R behind the name, a D behind the name, an I behind the name, an L behind the name, or if they're running from Mars. If they're going to do what they tell me they're going to do when I put them in office, then that's going to be the one that I vote for. And that's what we need to get back to in America, is not this partisan bickering BS crap, because I'm so tired of it. It's not everybody's right because they're Republican and everybody's wrong because they're Democrat. Because I got news for you, folks. In Oklahoma, most of our Democrats would be considered Republicans everywhere else in the country, but they still can't get along with the Republicans because they're too busy fighting over power. You know what I watched this year in our own session in our own state? We literally, at the close of our session, had a $400 million deficit because nobody could come together and figure out how they were going to raise revenues. So everybody started scrambling at the end of our session, within 5 days of the end of the session, which they're not supposed to do, and suddenly started passing all of these fees because they had to rename them from taxes, because back in the 80s when the oil bubble blew up the first time, the state legislators started passing tax after tax after tax after tax. So in the 90s, they made it a supermajority. So now that nobody wants to get along and everybody wants to blame everybody else so they can be the ones to wrest power from them, they're literally bankrupting the state because nobody wants to work with the party in power, because then they're going to be the ones that get the credit for fixing things, because then the Democrats want the House back because they haven't had it since, I think the 40s or the 50s. But then, even if that happens, the Republicans won't work with them because they want the House back, because it's all about their power. They are literally willing to watch my state explode just to be able to fight over who gets the baton next. And that's the same thing that's happening in D.C. And we are the ones that have given them that kind of power with this partisan crap where I only vote for the guy with the letter behind the name that I agree with. That is crap. It shouldn't be about the letter behind their name. It should be about their platform, what they're running on, and when you put them there, do they do what they say they're going to do? Because if they don't, then you need to get them the hell out. Period. Local level, state level, federal level. I don't care. If you like what they say and you vote for them, great. Give them a shot. If they get there and they don't get it done, get them the hell out and give somebody else a shot. I'm tired of this. Well, my guy is great, but your guy sucks. Because when Congress has a negative 23 approval rating, it's time to kick everybody out and start over. And yes, I know their rating's not really that low, but that's what it is for me.
No, yeah. I mean, it even boils down to, like, I mean, my former mother-in-law. She voted for Bill Clinton because he was good looking.
Was she hoping for the cigar?
Really?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, it's you know, come on. You know, I used to get kicked under the table if I brought up politics at all in any kind of family gathering, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Let your mom vote for the guy that's better looking. That's cool. Whatever. You know, the thought behind that just infuriated me. Like, okay, so you think he's good looking, so he's going to do good by you. How does that even compute? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You said it earlier. I mean, I don't like Donald Trump. As a person, I really do not like the guy. I didn't vote for him. I didn't support him. I do not like the guy. He's my president. And I've said it before, I am not displeased so far. I'm not completely happy, but I'm not displeased. He's done some good things. He really has. Does he need to shut up every once in a while? Yes, he really does. But it's his personality. I knew what his personality was when he got elected. I knew that's what we were going to get. But I'm not totally displeased. I mean, it is nice, it is really nice to see him where he is right now, basically saying, yeah, the United States is the best thing in the world. Instead of saying, we're so sorry we dropped a bomb on you in World War II. We're so sorry. Really? Are we sorry? I'm not. Don't speak for me, President Obama, because I'm not. We did what we had to do, and that's the kind of country we are. And that's the way President Trump plays us up at the G20. That's what he does. And I'm fine with that. I'm not going to sit here and say that he does it necessarily the way I would, or necessarily the way that who I wanted to be president would, but he does it. And it's a far better thing than we had for the last 8 years.
No, it's interesting that you bring up the whole Obama apology tour over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I want to remind folks about this because I don't think they teach this in history class anymore. The reason we did what we did when it came to the Japanese is because these people were willing to fly their own planes with themselves inside them into ships, buildings, anything they could find. We knew that if we did not find a way to bring the entire country to their knees, they weren't going to stop until we were either dead or they were. Because that's the ideology that they had. They were warriors. They still are. That's why they've managed to take over pretty much every facet of the technology stuff, because their warfare basically changed. They became the technology giants of the world once things like computers and everything else started taking off, because they found another way to fight. But that's their ideology, and that's the part that nobody talks about anymore. Was dealing with a group that was, in our estimation, so fanatical that they were willing to die, happily die, by flying themselves into buildings, planes, or other planes, ships, tanks, whatever they had to fly themselves into just to make sure that the other side died too. And that's why we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And trust me, nobody wanted to do it then either. Everybody acts like there was some little old Austin Powers looking guy sitting in a little egg-crated chair, rubbing his hands back and forth up and down going, yeah, I finally get to drop the bomb. No, that wasn't what that was. That was desperation, because we knew if we didn't stop them, we were probably not going to survive. But that's because back then we understood how things worked.
It sounds a little jihadist, doesn't it?
It sounds exactly jihadist. That was kind of where I was going with it.
Yeah, I mean, and now we have the progressives all on the side of the jihadists who want all of us dead. They want especially gay people dead. But the liberals are like, oh no, we can bring them over here. We can change them. We can change them with hugs. We can change them with love. You don't change this.
Yeah,
you do not change this.
You can't change.
You know what you do?
You can't.
You drop a nuclear bomb on it. That's what you do. And I'm being theoretical here.
I'm not, but I've said that before.
Well, you can't drop a nuclear bomb on Iraq, but
technically you could.
Well,
it wouldn't be a good thing, but I mean, technically you could.
But I mean, if you look at the North Korea thing too. All right, so this guy, he wants to develop something that can put a nuclear warhead into the United States. Okay, you wait until the little shithead. Sorry, I said it, didn't I?
Hey, it was you this week! Yay! It wasn't me.
You wait until he wants to have his little parade, and you just drop a Moab on the square, and we're done with it. You destroy his entire military. We're done with it. It's over.
Okay, so 2 quick things, and then we should probably start wrapping up because we've gone long. First of all, since we were talking about the jihadist thing, anybody else realize the really, really odd media bias going on right now? Because, CNN went all personal jihadi over the meme dude, because we talked about that in the beginning of the show. But Linda Sarsour can basically just kind of stand there and say whatever she wants about good old feel-good Muslim jihadists and blah, blah, blah. And the news is like, oh, well, see, we can talk about that while not judging her because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, why are you even giving her 30 seconds of airtime, much less defending what she's saying?
She's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
She is the face of feminism. She's the face of feminism.
Well, hang on. I'm not.
Honestly.
Hang on. I'm not necessarily opposed to her being the face of feminism, since most of the time her face is supposed to be covered. I'm just saying. Wait, did I say that out loud? My bad.
Yeah. No, you did, and you were right.
I'm going to hell. I'm going to hell for this show. I might as well just get ready for it now.
The face of feminism is actually someone supporting anti-feminism. That's the face of feminism right now. It's someone that supports cover yourself up and do everything I say and sit back and honor I won't even say patriarchy, because the patriarchy is really a good thing, and honor misogyny. You need to honor misogyny. That's the face of feminism right now. She is the face of feminism in the United States. Someone that wants women to honor misogyny.
Well, it honestly, it kind of goes along with the rest of the leftist extremes, because bear with me for a second. I promise I'll tie this together, and then we probably should get out of here. So now that they've started getting all these victories, right? Like now we're done fighting with whoever does what to whom in a bedroom. As long as they're consenting adults, they now have the ability to marry each other. So now they're fighting amongst themselves. So now, the ethnic minority groups that are also homosexuals are not necessarily welcome at certain parades and other things because, well, they're not like us. And now you have the feminists who are basically standing up and supporting everything they used to fight against because they're so busy now fighting with each other because they finally got what they wanted, but now they still want to dominate each other. And trust me, the reason I said I would bring this all back together is because what you're watching going on in the leftist extremes right now, the LGBT, ABCDGEFGHIJK folks, and the feminists and all the rest of them, and the we want to let everybody use whatever bathroom they want, marry whomever they want, yada yada crowds, all of those. You're watching a bunch of feudalism because they're still fighting with each other over superiority. And this goes back to what we talked about in the beginning of the show. Human nature is going to always require that there is some form of leader, whether we want them or not, which is why voluntarism will not work. Because even if you voluntarily go along with it, there's no guarantee the guy 5 miles down the road is going to voluntarily go along with your idea of it, and he's going to come in with a bigger gun than you and say, hey, all your stuff's mine now. And that's why that will never work, because you are removing the human component from things that look really, really good on paper. That's why communism, to a lot of people, looks really, really good on paper, but it doesn't work well in practice. Socialism looks really, really good on paper, but it doesn't work well in practice. Anarchy or voluntarism looks really, really good on paper, but it won't work in practice because you're removing the human variable. And that is where everything always goes sideways, because if things like anarchy, lawlessness, or voluntarism would work, or would have worked, then Cain would have never killed Abel. Just saying.
Yep. I'll just say yep. And since my show's kind of on hiatus, can I give you my doorknob of the week?
Sure.
Bill de Blasio, doorknob of the week.
So is that your doorknob of the week?
I'll leave it at that.
I've never actually asked you to clarify why you call them the doorknob of the week. Is that because everybody gets a turn, or is there another reason behind that one?
No, growing up, where I grew up, doorknob was basically douchebag.
Okay, I get it.
So,
well, I mean, the everybody gets a turn thing would have worked for de Blasio too, because he's over in Germany whoring for the. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Was that out loud again? I'm just gonna stop talking.
Yeah, he's over in Germany having a good old time after not attending the memorial service for his slain police officer, or overseeing the graduation of a class from the police academy in New York. Wonder why the police in New York really don't like him. I really do.
Well, it may have also had
a memorial service for a police officer sitting in her car who was walked up upon and shot in the face. He blew off the memorial service in the city he's a mayor of. I'll change my wording. My douchebag of the week. Bill de Blasio is an a-hole.
No, exactly. He's exactly that. I mean, because okay, so this is one of the times that I knew New York City was in trouble. When I heard Bill de Blasio, or as I like to call him, Bill de blah blah blah, start talking about things that sounded remarkably like Barack Obama, about the talk that he had with his son, about making sure that you were extra cautious around police, and you did this, and you did that, and you did this, and you did that, and I'm just like, dude, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm glad I don't live there. And then I was kind of thinking I kind of miss Rudy, and then Rudy went all nuts, and I'm like, maybe I just don't really care about New York City anymore.
I have a new name for him, Bill de Soros.
Oh, that would work. All right, so we are officially at this point. I know for a fact we are long. I'm not exactly sure how long. I think we've gone over by at least 20 minutes. So why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the radio hanging out with me?
Well, you can find me on Twitter. At the moment, I'm still alive. At Mad Feist, spelled F-I-E-S-T. And
that's me knocking on
Facebook.
That's me knocking on wood for you, but I have to admit this is kind of a record for you. It's been like what, weeks at this point?
I'm up to let me look, 807 followers. I've actually almost built an account back up. And you can find me on Facebook, Daniel Wright. Look for me. My picture's there. It's fairly private. I do have a professional account, which is Dan Wright, which has a little cartoon Abby of me, which is kind of for my show. I put my show on hiatus. I'm going through some stuff right now. Hopefully I'll be back in a few weeks. Got a lot of personal stuff going on, and I love this show. Would never give it up. Had to shelve that one for a little bit.
Well, hopefully that stuff gets sorted out soon enough, because I've had some folks asking when you're coming back. So you are missed, sir. So get it lined out. And
well, that's good to know.
We'll try to leave the light on for you. Not to sound like the Motel 6 guy for a second. All right, so of course you can follow along.
It will be back. I promise. It will be back. Just got to get some personal stuff sorted out, and work stuff.
There's always things like that have to get in the way. So yeah, I do understand. And on that note, you can follow along with me, should you so choose, on Twitter by following along at AOTR_host. You can find me live right here most nights on KLRN Radio. Monday through Thursday, we do America Off the Rails in this particular time slot. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do Jen and Rick an hour before this time slot. And then on Fridays, of course, you're listening to the show that we do right here, right now. And I'll be back with you starting again Monday night. But, of course, you can also hear the show America Off the Rails rebroadcast on such networks as Talk America Radio, the Liberty Channel. I almost said Red Nation Rising, but I just realized that's actually still them. They just rebranded. Then we have the Lanterns Radio Network. Also, we have AMFM247.com and, of course, CRNTalk.com, where that show can be heard Saturdays and Sundays right now at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. So make sure you tune in for those over the weekend over there. And I have suddenly started getting notifications that apparently I am starting to get some major love on YouTube. So for those of you checking out the YouTube channel, thank you. Please click subscribe, like about 40 of you just have in the last 5 minutes. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yay. All right, on that note, folks, we are officially out for the night. I will be back with you before you know it, because Monday will be here soon enough. No, I'm not trying to jinx it. It's the start of the weekend, so let's enjoy it. You guys take care. Good night. God bless. We will see you when we see you. And Austin, I doubt you're listening right now, but if you get a chance to hear this, God bless you, man. Do what you got to do. We'll support you however we can. I don't care what the letter is behind your name. I like the stuff that you stand for. We'll see you guys next week.
Everything is changed.